Look at those. I'm going to pick those today. Welcome to Westerveld Homestead. And today we are troubled by little bucklings. Yes, you are. So it's been a little while since we've last filmed, mainly because of the wind again. But as you just saw, the garden is looking fantastic. And here we have two baby ducklings because our large duck Royal passed away and our female was alone. So these guys, or girls, I don't know yet, they are going to keep her company. And these little ducklings are pretty cute. They have their way in and out of the water with one of those rubber mats. I've used that with little ducks all the time because they can put their nails in there and easily climb up. Now they're hiding right in the corner. So this garden bed is looking relatively okay for its first year. The potatoes are doing good, the peas are doing good, and I have corn in between, but it's still small. And then the mustard spinach has really taken off. I should probably feed that to the animals. And the empty section here will be spinach, but it's still a bit too chilly for it to germinate. And right there where the sign is, I've just planted 2 rows of golden beets. So it'll take a little while for them to come up. And underneath the netting are the cabbages, which are doing awesome. Our little pigs are growing up fast. They're eating the grass. They're right here next to the compost pile because the middle section of it was a bit hard, a bit compacted. So the most easiest thing is to do is to put the pigs on there, and let's see if we can get it closer. Don't know if it's clearly visible, but they basically started digging some holes, and while my shoes are being eaten. You can see here they've started to tear down the mountain. So the goats are out on pasture, mama and her baby, and we've just put a wire here because she got out. Don't ask me how she got out, but she got out. So we finally have our second solar panel, which I wanted for a while now. So this is the S16, and the pigs have the S10 version. And the S10 is great. I mean, I could probably charge this area with just the S10, but I like to have one stronger because these girls will be eating everything that grows in the ditch, because these little canes of the reed, like these things, will all be eaten by goats. They love it, but it does take the spark off even if I section off just a little portion of this ditch. So I wanted something stronger just to think ahead a little bit, and this is why I chose the S16, and we'll try to see how it does, see how it performs. I really like those tiny solar panel things because you think, oh, the spark is too weak, but it'll keep everything in. So I'm really happy. So over here we have our torn off mulberry tree. This is the one our previous cows tore in 2 pieces, and I'm very happy that it has some leaves on it again, because that means it'll survive. So I'm hoping to have a large mulberry tree here. It's right in front of the pasture, and this will provide a portion of the pasture with some afternoon shade. So around 12 o'clock those trees, which are not mine, will give shade to the pasture, and then at the end of the day, when it's basically the hottest here, I want this tree to grow big and strong. And mulberry's edible, so I don't mind if I section off this part for the goats when this tree is bigger. So eventually they can sleep underneath here, and maybe I'll let the pigs out. So I'm thinking ahead with planning and planting different trees for my animals. And this is the section between my pasture and the neighbors. So this lane is ours still, because those concrete blocks kind of give away what's the border of our property. And so I want to do some edible shrubs here, maybe some berry shrubs, so that, well, people don't go here and goats don't go here. But I can't put the fence up against these posts because our goats will surely, and if we have cows, they will surely tear apart everything that grows in our neighbor's gardens. So I want to put berry bushes here, some thorny berries, and we do have some bushes, so I need to take cuttings from those. But I want to fence in our property mostly with berry bushes and edible shrubs. So if you have any suggestion, please leave it in the comments below. It must be edible for at least goats and cows, because those will be the grazers that we will have on this property. So make sure it's not poisonous, and we'll take a look and see what does best. Also, we're in cold climate, so make sure it's somewhat frost hardy or regrows in spring. And so this part is where we dropped the wood chips manure about a year ago, and we had the chickens and pigs on there, and we got all kinds of flowers popping up right there, and I've just sown some sunflowers here, so I'm hoping this will all be sunflowers before the nasty weeds set in too much. Next to it is our forest area. I don't know if you can see it, but those little trees are starting to take shape. There are tons of trees in there, but it's a bit hidden in the grass. So, I mean, just look at how insanely tall that grass is. It's up to my waist at least. So the trees have a hard time getting established. Let's take a look. We have strawberry plants in here. Strawberries in the woods. Already ate some, and they were fantastic. They were sweet and juicy, so it's telling me they're having a good time. There's one over there, and then here we have a couple trees. You can see them better now, and there are a couple hidden there in the brush. But this will make a great forage area for pigs or goats, or maybe both. And I'm kind of saving this for winter. Although when the summer heat really gets to it, I might put the chickens in here, because they like to have shade under these plants, or like this little tree, there's a lot of shade under there. So if it gets really hot, I might let them out. And also the wildlife. Let's take a look at all the bees and insects just enjoying themselves, and there are a ton of spiders in here, but we don't have anything venomous in our country. No venomous snakes, no poisonous bugs, no. Well, we have some wasps, but they're friendly compared to what you guys in the States have. So, and there's Miss Princess. She's a free-range duck. She actually sleeps not with the chickens, but way over there near the house. There's her little shelter somewhere back there, and she lays an egg there. And the little ducklings are in the pond over there, but she hasn't really bonded with them yet. I put them together, but they're a bit too small for her to have any interest in them. So she's a free-range duck, and she can go to the chickens here, or to the free-range chickens, which are somewhere in the shade, I don't know where. Or she can hop in the pond, because she jumps the fence there, and be with the little ducklings. So it's her choice, but she did spend some time with the chickens, so most of the time she hangs out here before returning to her favorite shady spots. And the chickens are currently in a part of the garden that we couldn't till. And this part of the garden we mowed real short and then tried to till it, but the ground was too solid, it was too hard, too compacted. Because we have a ton of seed from Baker Creek that still needs some spot. And since our other garden area is full, we need to prep a new area. And so I let the chickens scratch this up as good as they can. I hear you. Before we try tilling it again. You are always, I'm going the wrong way, hen, and you're always making noise, you chicken. Oh, that black hen. It's always the black hen. So anyway, the chickens are here for the time being. They can fertilize it and scratch it. And I'm hoping they'll get the sod off just a little bit. These are our baby Sussex, by the way. And our red Sussex, which are still, I think she's beautiful. She's a pain in the butt, because she's always the one getting out. Well, when I'm coming with the feed in the morning, she was always the one that tried to hop the fence. But they're bigger now, so they can't get out anymore. It's you again, isn't it? You're always making noise. Yes, you are. Oh my gosh, you Jersey giant freak. Yes, you are. Look at how shiny she is. She's solid black. She's just shining in the sun. Anyway, so this chicken flock really looks like a chicken flock, although the big Jerseys are underneath there because it's too hot for them. And look at how our injured rooster walks. He's doing way better, and he's not lying down as much anymore. Well, he's quite friendly and quiet. I mean, our other rooster has become quite quiet too. He's not crowing as much anymore. And now he's going in. But our little injured rooster, Mr. Hubbard, look at it when he's standing. I mean, he didn't stand up a lot, I think 1.5 months ago. He's really improving. He's even trying to walk normal instead of running and using his wings. I still don't know what he had when he got into that fight, but you can see he's walking quite a lot better. So I'm just leaving him with the flock. I like these two boys. They are not fighting. They're going their own way to take after the chickens. I mean, he was with the little chicks for a long time. When Mr. Biggs was with the big girls, Mr. Hubbard took care of the young chicks, which is awesome. So I'm just leaving them together. So these are the asparagus, really tall. These are a bit smaller. And we also planted the succession of year number 2. So we have young plants as well for next year, because these are last year's asparagus. And I'm really happy that they did so well. And then on the other side we can finally show off our fruit trees because they're good and visible now. That's our apple, which has apples on it for the first time. And our little cherry that's recuperating. We've mowed here I think 2 weeks ago and the grass is already insanely tall. So here's one of our apples. And there are 2 more. There were 3 more, but 1 fell off. I'm okay with that. Just want to show you this lovely foliage of our apricot. I mean, it just starts out with these gorgeous, gorgeous colors. And then as it gets bigger, it just turns green. But so far, this is my favorite tree. And it gets these orange fruit on it. It's so pretty. I really like this tree. This is our walnut. And we have planted 2 little ones, which are not visible. One's over there and one's over here. But this grass is like 1.5 meters tall. It's insane. You can't really see it, but this grass is tall. Look at these fields of potatoes, or 1/3 of our plot. potatoes and a couple of weeds on the front end, but that's not too big of a problem. It's just so pretty. So over here we planted some pumpkins. 1, 2 is over there in the wood chips, and a raspberry of course. And number 3 is right there in the corner, and the idea is that they will overgrow this whole area. But we've had a frost this month, which was June, which is I think 3-4 weeks well, it's about 4 weeks after our last frost date. So all our zucchinis died, all our pumpkins died, etc. And the okra also had taken a lot of damage. So this is the row of okra we've put out. There are bits of green left, but it took a really hard hit. I'm hoping these ones will recover, but they're pretty damaged. However, the cold spell after a warm spring has made it a good year for beets. Some of them are already almost ready to harvest, so I'm happy with that. Also, the arch is not really filled up. That one died because it broke through the wind, and that one seems to have started to climb. We're helping it a little bit, but I've also put seeds in the ground, but they haven't germinated, so I'm not sure if they come up yet or they still will come up, because it's been about 10 days. So I would have expected to at least see something. Aren't you a pretty boy, Daichi? Aren't you a pretty boy? There's Cheeto. He's being quiet. He never, ever, ever makes noise or is whiny. He just comes to cuddle. He doesn't charge you. While Daichi is always the playful one. He will come charging right at you. He wants to be with you and jump on your back, which he's not allowed to. But they're really friendly boys. I handle them every day because they're real guys. And so I'm not sure which of those two will get the breeding rights, or if they might both get the breeding rights. I'm not sure. So we'll have to wait and see. Hajiro. Yeah, he does his own thing. And there they go. They're like, I'm lazy and this soil is nice and cold. Huh? If you look over there, there's the entrance to our, well, now it's a buck pen, but it's our pig pen. And we want the trailer to back up and load pigs. So we have small trees growing in the wood chips, like here. Obviously this one has to go because it's in the way, but they're growing all along this fence. And the question is, which one should we leave? Because I do like the idea of having maybe a couple trees in front. Now there are raspberries there, but that's the south, so the sun comes from the south, so those raspberries are fine probably. And this will be a shady part of the garden then, but I don't have to let the grease grow tall. I can just snip off the top. But anyway, there are tons of little trees. I've removed the ones, well, most. I can see one. There we go. So here I do want a couple, but the question is, what would you do? Where would you let some trees grow? Because that space is obviously wide enough to let a tiller through or a tractor, so that I think that section should be open. So looking at it from the other side, we have like a tree right there, which is on the line to the porch, but we also have trees growing back there. What you see there is the striped japonica corn, which will be a patch, because I really love the look of that plant, so I want to look at them this year, so I just planted these out. But anyway, there's a small tree growing in there too, or 2 or 3 trees, and behind that too. But a bit of the question is, where would you put the trees? Maybe 1 or 2 in that corner, or more along the fence, I don't know. The thing is, I need to remove any before autumn, or the roots will get too deep to pull them out easily. So I need to decide, and let me just show you a couple of them. So, right here, growing 1, 2, 3. It was a 4th. There it is, 4. And then those are all trees. That's a tree. So I have some thinking to do, and I really want your input on this one. They're also growing quite close to the fence, this one, and then I mean, I'll probably pull those out, then they're too close to the raspberry. But like over there's a pretty one next to our little safe tomatoes. They're called safe tomatoes because they came from our buck pen, and there's still a couple in here. The pigs were here and they ate tomatoes, and now they're popping up everywhere. I saved about 30 of them already, but new ones are keep popping up, so I have to remove them. And they're not poisonous to goats if they are small, even though it's a nightshade family. If they're really small, they're not poisonous, and slugs will eat them too at that stage. But I still need to remove them. So as soon as they pop up, I take them out of here. But yeah, we got about 30 so far, so this wasteland is producing tomatoes. Oh, and sunflowers. And small trees, but the goats already ate the trees. They leave the sunflowers though. So we'll see. I might seed some edibles in here for the goats, but for that to happen, the girls need to be trained to the electric fence so they can get out, and then the boys can go to the girls' pasture back there. And then I can sow some things here for the bucks. But all in due time. I mean, the girls are not trained to the electric fence, and the boys aren't either. The girls are in the electric fence now for the first day, and so far only the little goat has touched the fence. So I need to monitor them today and see how quickly they learn. So anyway, that's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm hoping the wind will allow me to keep you updated. Okay, thanks and bye for now.